I want you to imagine you're a student in university. Maybe you are right now, but imagine it is the morning of your final exam in all of university. You've been pushing yourself to your limits mentally and physically to get the best grades that you possibly could, and everything comes down to this final exam. You have been preparing for months for this moment. All the work that you've done before comes down to right now. You've been studying for weeks, memorizing everything you need to know, and you feel that this exam is pretty much in the bag. What could possibly go wrong? You got a great night's sleep, and in the morning, after you've taken a shower and you've got up and got ready for your day, before you head out the door to go to your exam hall, you decide to check on Instagram just to see if you have any messages or just see what's happening in the world today. As you open up your phone, the first post you see is something that doesn't even feel real. You see a post from your best friend's mom. A few years ago, your best friend enlisted in the military, and you knew he was off overseas being deployed, and you were looking forward to seeing him over the summer break because you knew he was coming back real soon. And as you scroll down on the post and read what it's about, you find out that your best friend has passed away. As you're scrolling down and reading the news, something jolts in your heart. You feel like you can't even believe this. You don't feel like it's real, and you're pissed off. You're angry. Why would the world do this? Why is it like this? And you feel the tears begin to swell up in your eyes. Your heart starts pounding faster and faster, and you feel like you're beginning to shake, and you feel like this isn't real at all. You feel like you should just wake up from the dream at this point. Wake up and actually go write your exam, but it's not a dream. It's real life. Your friend is gone. As you put your phone down, you collapse to your knees. How is this possible? How could this have happened? Especially on this day. How could this have happened? How did I just lose my best friend? Knowing that if you don't leave your apartment now, you'll be late for your exam. So you muster up everything you have and you drag yourself out that door to your exam hall. Tears are still streaming down your face. Your mind is racing between memories and things that you've done with this friend, and how he may have possibly died, and how his family feels, and your mind is all over the place, and you are an emotional wreck. You enter that exam hall, and when the exam is placed in front of you, you don't even start writing. You're not even in that room. You're back in high school, spending time with that friend. You're reliving those moments, and then your mind jumps to being at his funeral. You're standing there watching his mother weep while she gives a eulogy about his life and what she meant to him. You have to comfort his girlfriend while she's there crying, can't even speak a word, but just so broken with emotion. At an instant, you snap back and realize you have to still write this exam. It's not over yet, and you try to go through that exam, but everything you studied is gone. And you did the best you could, but you knew that once the exam was taken away from you, that you weren't even going to be close to passing that exam. You ended up failing the class, and you needed to retake a full semester of university just to graduate. And although that story may seem extreme, that's really not that far from the truth of our everyday reality. My name is Colby Wallace, and I am helping young people all over the world discover what their true authentic purpose is and forge their dream life while they pursue it. My generation is one who has grown up with social media. We know nothing different. I'm old enough to remember when Instagram and Facebook and all this stuff was first coming out and when my parents were first getting it. But for the majority of us, social media has just been the way we've known life. I first got Instagram when I was 12, and I only had it for a year, and I'm thankful that I deleted it after a year, because even just having it for that period of time, it messed my life up so much. It was always the first thing I'd check when I'd wake up, to just scroll on reels, see what other people were doing, check stories of my favorite celebrities and stuff. And I'd be thinking about Instagram when I was in class, and I'd be anxious about what people were thinking about my posts, constantly checking how many likes I was getting. And it was the last thing I did before I went to sleep. The year that I spent on Instagram was the worst year of my life. It was when I felt the most anxious. It was when my mental health was at its worst. And it's extremely strange, for the period of my life where I was spending the most time on social media was the time that I was the loneliest. Even though I had close to 1,000 followers on Instagram, I didn't have any real friends. And I was always seeing the highlights of everyone else's life, what they were doing at this time, and feeling like shit about myself when I wouldn't be doing those same things. I was just at home scrolling on social media. Thankfully, I deleted the app when I was 13 and actually began to live my life. My life looks so much different now. I have been able to pursue my passion of music to an extremely high degree, and over the past couple months during the summer, I was making $5,000 from just playing music, from doing live shows and making money online. I've been able to cultivate the most amazing relationships that I've ever thought possible. I have so many memories of doing so many stupid fun things with my friends and amazing memories of trips with my family. I've been able to develop my physical and mental health to the best place it's ever been in years, and I feel grateful for the life that I get to live every single day. The thing with the majority of people is they're trying to discover how to be happy, how to be fulfilled, how do I just feel better in everyday life. But the thing is, the majority of not only young people, but even adults in our modern day, they're controlled by their phone. Their phone lives their life for them. What do the majority of people do when they first wake up? Before even rolling out of bed to go take a piss, they check their phone. They check all their notifications, check on social media and Instagram. And it's because we get this dopamine release of feeling social connection and feeling like we're part of something and feeling like we have friends when we see all those notifications. They make us feel good. You probably know this. You're trying to talk to your friend and you're like genuinely like spilling your heart out to them, having like an extremely meaningful conversation. And while you're like giving them a part of your soul, they get a notification from like Snapchat or something, and they pull up their phone and like look at it while you're still talking to them, and they're like yeah, while they're like sending a picture of their forehead or something back. And it's so annoying because you're trying to talk to them, and anyone you're trying to like have genuine connection with is just always looking at their phone. They're just always so distracted, always away from the real world. Personally, I've never had Snapchat. I never like had TikTok on my phone, but I know people who have had like multiple social medias from the age of like 10 all the way till now, like almost a decade spent on social media, frying your attention span and just constantly being bombarded with all these notifications. I remember in high school after a basketball game one time, obviously like you can't have your phone on the bench, so when we were in the change room after the game, and keep in mind a game only takes like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours if it's like really long and it's like it goes into overtime or something. And after the game, one of my teammates was checking his phone and I saw him open it and like just scroll down the notifications, and holy man, there must have been like 100, 200 Snapchat notifications, TikTok, Instagram, like just like kept going. Like I'm like 2 hours, you get all those notifications. Like how do you get anything done when your phone is constantly being blown up by all of these notifications? The other thing with consuming so much information on not only social media but like news is it's always so negative. How often do you open the news channel on TV and see like a wholesome news story? It's always war here and more death, and it's always such like brutal information. And I'm not saying just hide your head in the sand like an ostrich, but so many people are wondering, why am I so unhappy in life, and why does my day always feel so negative? But when you start your day with scrolling on CNN or checking the news and seeing all these deaths, like the war and how the world is blowing up, no wonder you feel miserable, because you're allowing that into your mental diet right as soon as you wake up. How do you expect to be happy, and how do you expect to actually do anything good with your day when that's the first kind of information you consume? It boggles my mind how many people actually want to be happy and actually want to do something with their life and like are searching for the solution outside of themselves. But really, all you have to do is take a step back from the things you're already doing. Like you'd think there'd be some common sense here and people would like get off the apps, but it's so addictive, and the algorithms know you so well that trying to take a step back is brutally hard. The biggest complaint that you hear from a lot of people every single day is, oh, I don't have time to do anything. I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to take care of my mental health. I don't have time to meditate. I don't have time to do all these other things. But what do the majority of people do? They spend 6 hours just on social media. They spend all this time just consuming this negative content. And it's not only wasting time, it's deteriorating your mental health, because you're always seeing either like negative information, or you're seeing how other people are living their lives. Like if you check on Instagram and you see your friend who's traveling the world and in like some tropical place, and you see like a picture on their story and you're in like Canada in the middle of freezing winter, no one's gonna be like, oh, that's good for them, I'm happy. Human nature is to be jealous. Obviously you're gonna be jealous and think like, oh man, I wish I was living their life, but I'm just stuck here in basically Canada, and like you just feel worse about yourself. Everyone says they want to start living life to the fullest and be present in the moment, but when you never take action to do so, you're never going to get anywhere. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. If you're not willing to take action and actually change the things that you're doing in your life, you're never gonna see any success. And now the thing you need to understand is social media is not the problem. Social media itself is not a bad thing. The problem is you. Let me repeat that again. Social media is not the problem. You are. It's the way you use it. You have no self-control when you go on these apps, because as soon as you wake up, you have that urge to grab your phone and start checking on it like a slave to just your phone. And you can't put it down for 5 minutes without wanting to check it again for notifications. Social media is not necessarily the problem in terms of a marketing perspective and in terms of a way to actually communicate with other people. It's a great invention. You can build a multi-figure business on social media from the comfort of your bedroom, and it can be used in a very productive way. But the majority of people don't have the self-control and use it like that. As an ambitious young person, you need to take a step back from these apps. You need to delete them off your phone so you can actually start living your own life. And I'm not telling you just limit 1 hour a day. Anyone who says they're going to spend only 1 hour a day is not going to spend 1 hour a day. They're going to spend 2, 3, 4, because you don't have self-control. These things are meant to be addictive. And it's either you're an addict or you cut them out completely. There is no middle ground. There's not a lot of middle ground left in our modern world. And I know there's going to be people who cope and say I need it for communication and I talk to my friends on Snapchat. If you're on social media, you have a phone. And if you have a phone, you have a phone number. If you genuinely want the best for yourself and to still be in contact for these people, put your phone number on your story. Say I'm taking a social media detox. I'm going to be deleting the app. If anyone wants to message me, here's my phone number. Guess what's going to happen? Majority of the people aren't going to actually text you on that number because you're just on Snapchat or Instagram for them to save that streak or get that dopamine boost. Any of your real friends will actually text you on your number. The majority of us want to have better relationships. And as humans, we're not meant to have 40 different friends that we message on Snapchat all the time. Also, even once you've deleted social media, don't check your phone first thing in the morning. You want to start your day off with some positivity, right? So don't check your phone right away. Go do something you genuinely think can add to your life. Go exercise first or go do deep work on your business or your purpose. You will feel so much more fulfilled if you actually prioritize these things instead of checking your phone just to get that instant hit of dopamine. Disable most of your notifications. It'll prevent you from actually being distracted. Maybe you don't disable notifications from text from your parents or something, but at least with your emails and stuff, there's no need to have notifications on because you can have designated times to actually check these apps. Then you can respond to all of them at once. Like I said before, social media is not the problem. It's the way you use it. Social media can either be your biggest ally or your biggest downfall. It's up to you to choose the way you want to use it. I understand what it's like to be extremely lonely and what it's like to feel like you have no one in your life, but still be addicted to social media and still feel like you're trying, it makes me happy, but the reason you're lonely is because of social media. It's funny how the thing that's meant to keep us the most connected is the thing that makes the majority of people lonely. What can happen when you actually take a step back from social media is that you feel like you relate to no one. You feel like you're extremely lonely and you feel like you have no one to actually talk to anymore. But the thing is, you don't have to be the lone wolf who deletes social media. There is a movement of young people who are changing their lives, changing the way they live so they can discover the true authentic purpose and live it to the fullest. If you want to join a tribe of young people who are working on their purpose, taking a step back from social media, becoming more confident, working on their health, then you're in the right place. I've created an online community literally for free. You can join it right now. You just have to click the top link in the description, and there's people in there who are just like you from all over the world, discovering what their purpose is and actually becoming more confident and just genuinely happier because of it. I do live calls where we all get together and talk about things that we're working on improving in our lives and just trying to make the world a better place. When used correctly, social media can be an amazing thing, but the majority of people in our world don't know how to use it like that. And it's up to us, the younger generation, to actually be the change that we want to see in the world. If we don't want to be depressed and we don't want to be lonely anymore, then we need to take action towards that. And for pretty much everyone, taking a step back from social media is the first step.